my wedding.
History for Oklahoma. Same-sex marriage now legal in the Sooner State. Meet the two women behind the fight. Plus, we're learning more about the relationship between a gunman and the young woman he killed. What experts now say about his behavior.
And summer just won't quit. Temperatures very warm tomorrow. How warm in the Storm Shield forecast?
First at 10, history plays out in Oklahoma for 4 other states. Gay couples with the opportunity to officially and legally marry the love of their life. It all comes as the U.S. Supreme Court refused to hear a case that involved our state. That refusal opened the door for the 10th District Circuit Court of Appeals to lift its stay. That led to the first legal same-sex wedding in Oklahoma on the steps of Tulsa's County Courthouse tonight. 10 News reporter Liz Bryant witnessed it along with a very big crowd. Liz?
And Karen, at 8:30 tomorrow morning, it resumes. Gay couples can go inside the Tulsa County Courthouse and get a marriage license legally. Now tonight, this courtyard filled up about 5 o'clock. We witnessed our first marriage right on the steps behind me.
I now pronounce Mary and Sharon to be lawfully married.
They are now the Bishop Baldwins, but to understand how they got here, you've got to go back 14 years, the first time Mary and Sharon exchanged rings, but only in a commitment ceremony.
That the world didn't end, the sky didn't fall. Marriage is still a venerable institution. And our marriage does not affect anyone else's marriage.
A marriage both their parents sat and witnessed, also a first.
She's 86 years old, and she has really come so far.
I've done as much as I could to reconcile, and I have pretty much done that.
Vows that you speak today.
The judge at the helm, Jane Wiseman, who's up for re-election this year.
And I just came from a funeral, if you can believe that. And by the way, my daughter-in-law Dana is in labor at this moment with my first grandchild.
Okay.
So I'm doing birth, death, and marriage all in the same day.
A day where life came full circle. Mary wore a blue garter on her arm, the same one her mother wore on her wedding day in 1951. Sharon's last name, picked out years ago.
This is crazy. When I was a kid, I went to an allergist, and she used to, these people knew me for my whole life, but I would walk in and she would say, Sharon Bishop is here.
That's weird.
Yeah, and we used to joke, when I was like 7 and 8, she'd joke about, oh, someday you'll marry a man named Bishop. So she was half right.
Now the Baldwin Bishops say they're not done fighting. Their next fight is for equality where you work and where you live, because they said that in Oklahoma, you can be evicted from your house or apartment for being gay. You can also be fired from your work. Liz Bryant, 2 News, works for you.
Thank you, Liz. This first gay marriage is historic for many in the gay community, and the couples who can now marry aren't the only ones celebrating.
7 years.
Oh, that's great.
And we waited our respect for you guys because your fight was so long. Thank you so much.
Josh and Phil added a few minutes to their 7-year wait so the couple who made it all possible could be the first to get their marriage license in Oklahoma.
You are first applicant, or first spouse, I'm sorry.
Though they were actually the very first to arrive at the courthouse.
This has to be back to us within 30 days of today.
It'll be done.
Josh and his soon-to-be husband Phil, elated to fill out the paperwork to legally wed.
I didn't even know I was getting married this morning.
It's a big day for this mom, too. Now her son can marry in Oklahoma, just like his straight siblings.
For it to be legal in Oklahoma, the Bible Belt, is an extreme pleasure to me. To be in Oklahoma, to be alive, to see all my children have the same rights as an American.
Now, we talked to a legal expert who says while the same-sex marriage is now legal in Oklahoma, we have not seen a final ruling. Mike Redmond told Russ McCaskey that the Supreme Court refused to rule on the case that involved Oklahoma, but the High Court could still take up another case.
As I've said, the fat lady has not sung yet. All the Supreme Court done is said we're not making a decision at this time.
With the Supreme Court not making a decision, there are significant implications. Gay couples can only legally marry in some states, not all. Redmond still feels same-sex marriage will one day be the law of the land in America. And Governor Mary Fallin released the following statement in response to the U.S. Supreme Court move. She says, in part, today's decision has been cast by the media as a victory for gay rights. What has been ignored, however, is the right of Oklahomans and Americans in every state to write their own laws and govern themselves as they see fit. By not acting expecting today the U.S. Supreme Court justices expand marriage equality to about 60% of Americans. Same-sex couples in Virginia, Utah, Indiana, and Wisconsin tied the knot just hours after the ruling. So gay marriage is legal in 30 states and the District of Columbia. Opponents hope to change public opinion with a wave of weddings.
More states in which same-sex couples are actually receiving marriage licenses in the hope that that will reduce resistance to this idea.
Our coverage continues.